Thank you all for being here and welcome to Kids Voting Ohio's Civic Leader Information Session. Sorry if there is any background noise. I'm currently at the Columbus Main Library branch and there's a lot going on here today. So today we will start off with some introductions, and then I will spend a minute talking a little bit about what Kids Voting Ohio is and what we do. And then we'll talk about the program goals and the schedule, and then we will end with an opportunity for question and answers. All right, thank you all so much for being here once again. I would like to take an opportunity to have everyone introduce themselves. If you feel comfortable coming off mute and introducing yourself on screen, that's fantastic. If not, if you're just able to share your name, the school you're in, and your grade level in the chat, that would be excellent. I will introduce myself. So my name is Martina Bliss. I am the project director for Kids Voting Ohio. I have been working with Kids Voting Ohio for the past couple of years. The Civic Leaders Project is something that I'm really excited about and really excited that we're hosting this year. This is our first time hosting something like this, or specifically a summer program. And I'm really looking forward to getting to know all of you. And yeah, feel free to send in the chat. I somehow just drew on the screen and I'm not really sure how I did that. Anyway, hold on, I'm gonna stop sharing and share again. Here we go. All right, so what is Kids Voting Ohio? So we are a statewide civic education program. We offer various different opportunities and programs to Ohio schools, all schools as well, public, private, clubs, really any student group in the state of Ohio. Most of our programs are designed for 3rd through 12th classrooms. They are all free and completely accessible online. We are a state affiliate of Kids Voting USA. Kids Voting USA has been around since the 1980s. They have over 30 affiliates in the past 40 years. And their mission is to create lifelong voting habits in children, increase family communication about citizenship, and encourage greater adult voter turnout. We're also a nonprofit and we are nonpartisan. So our board of directors is made up of mostly Ohio educators and Ohio educator leadership. And we are nonpartisan. We're not a nonpartisan organization focused completely on civic education, meaning that we do not work or favor any political parties. Now we will talk about the Civic Leader Program. So the goals of this program, there's two main goals that we have. We really would just want to empower students to take initiatives and be civic catalysts in their communities. And then we also want to provide an opportunity for students to strengthen their project planning, leadership, and networking skills. So I want to talk a little bit about some examples of projects because I know it was pretty vague online in what we've been talking about, because this is an opportunity for students to do any project that they choose. But I want to go over a couple projects that we have because they're programs that we as an organization put on, and they definitely can be student-led projects that happen through this program. So one of them, which this is a unique one, is the Gubernatorial Town Hall, which will be happening this September between the two gubernatorial candidates that we have running for the Ohio governor seat. So this is actually a program that is being put on by the Childhood Defense Fund of Ohio. Kids Voting Ohio is a partner, though, with the organization, and we are hoping to get some students involved in planning and organizing this town hall. So what this would look like is they would serve in an organizing leadership role to help turn out students from their schools, their district, and across the state to the event. They would help determine different questions, topics, and ideas for the discussion of the town hall. And then they also would partake in an advisory board to help create a youth agenda for the candidates. So this is a really interesting and unique opportunity that we have. And it will look a little bit different if you do participate, if this is the program or project that you decide to work on, than some of our other programs, because the implementation phase is very focused on this one day, and there will be a lot of work that's more so focused at the end of summer, right when the school year starts, versus where other projects could be implemented at any time during the 2021-22 or 2022-23 school year. Some other examples of projects are mock elections. So that's one of the biggest things that Kids Voting Ohio does. So we offer mock elections for schools all the way from 3rd through 12th grade. And the concept with this is to build voting habits. If you're participating in a mock election every single year and you are practicing voting, then you're way more likely to be an active voter by the time you are an adult. And voter turnout rates are very low among young adults in Ohio. So by young adults, I mean the 18 to 29 age group, like significantly lower than all other age groups. So that is a really big goal that Kids Voting Ohio has as a whole, as an organization. And we think that the student-led mock elections are actually really awesome because they aren't just like your teachers planning and organizing something for you. You can be the person doing that, working with your peers to organize something and like determining what the mock election looks like. So this could be anything from like a mock election for the election in November, or it could be a school-based election, like for prom king and queen, for student council, for something like that. And we also have relationships with the various county board of elections across the state, and we could help you organize with them to bring in voting machines and set it up like a real, actual, true election. Some other examples of projects would be voter registration drives. So just like registering students to vote that are eligible at your school, or hosting various other things with them, like information and getting like lessons on voting and having that whole setup as a voter registration drive. You could also do something like a government day. And by that, we kind of mean like bringing in different elected officials from the local level, state level, even federal level to come in and speak with students at your school and talk about what they do and how their job and role impacts Ohioans. Or you could do any community issue-based campaign of your choosing. If you recognize an issue or a problem that your school or community is facing and you want to do something about it, Kids Voting Ohio would love to support you and your passion and help you accomplish that goal and run whatever campaign that you are looking for at your school, as long as it falls within the purview of our like nonpartisan status. So if there are specific programs that you want to work on, we can absolutely have a conversation about that. And we do encourage that you do something of your choosing. And if Kids Voting Ohio wasn't the right organization to work with, we would work on connecting you with the right organization to make this happen. Yes, to answer that question, it could be an election for another country. That's fine. Honestly, it's really up to you, something that you're interested in doing. It doesn't necessarily have to fall into like what these examples lay out. So now I want to talk a little bit about the sessions. So there will be 4 in-person sessions over the summer, and they will take place at a few different libraries within the Columbus metropolitan area. And I will talk a little bit about what these sessions will look like, where they'll be located, the dates and times, and all of that. And you will get all this information after the meeting as well. So our first session is scheduled for June 14th. It's a Tuesday from 4 to 6 p.m. There will be snacks and things like that for you at the meeting. So this session will be held at the South High branch. The address is there, one of the Columbus libraries. And we're going to start the session off with civic discussions to kind of just like open the floor to have a full like discussion about some various civic topics. And then we will be bringing in some student activists and leaders at the high school and college level to kind of talk about some programs that they have done with their schools and with their communities. And then we'll have like a little brainstorming session and maybe take some time to determine some individual project goals. And like the homework assignment with this, especially if you come in having absolutely no idea what project you want to do, which is 100% okay. You do not need to know what you want to do by the first meeting, is to kind of think about what you might want to do and have that concept and idea ready for our second session. So we will meet then 2 weeks later on June 28th, also a Tuesday, at the Linden Branch Library, which is in like the northeastern-ish part of Columbus. And we'll be meeting then from 4 to 6. And then we'll introduce our first lesson into this. So we do want to like help and teach you some skills that could help with implementing these different programs and projects that you might be working on. So we will start with our first lesson will be how to build a budget. And then we will work on begin project planning individually in small groups. And we will bring in some more community leaders to kind of advise and help you work through any questions you have or like ideas and concepts and just logistics. Our third session will be on July 12th from 4 to 6, again at the South High Library. And we will during this session have a lesson on public speaking, which I think is really invaluable for this experience. Public speaking comes very naturally to a lot of folks, for others, not so much, but there are a lot of skills and techniques and like different things you can learn to master public speaking and feel like super comfortable talking in front of a crowd. Like I used to be really terrified of stuff like that. And I took some public speaking classes and it's something I really enjoy doing now. So I think that's like a really good place for students to learn a bit more about and like master that skill so that they're ready to implement their program and like pitch their ideas to the group and to their school. Then we'll continue project planning, and we will also again have community leaders there advising and helping you work on your projects. Our last session will be on July 26th at the Martin Luther King branch, which is on the like near east side of Columbus. It's like 2 miles east of downtown. We will have a lesson on networking. And then we will do project pitches. So you'll be able to pitch your project to the group of students that are there. And like we can have advisors there as well, different community leaders to kind of provide feedback and help you fill in gaps and like ask questions, answer questions, and all of that. And we'll end this session with speaking with all the students individually to figure out what their project timeline kind of looks like so that we can then schedule one-on-ones for the school year for that implementation phase. The implementation phase will look a lot different than this like structured setting over the summer. So like if you're hosting a mock election in November, we will plan to meet a few times based off that, like based off your needs that you have for implementing the project. And then based off that timeline versus if you're hosting a voter registration drive next spring, that timeline is going to look a little bit different when we're going to have those one-on-one meetings. But we will be doing most likely virtual check-ins throughout the school year to make sure that the project is going as planned and that you have everything you need. One other thing I want to say about this is the program is completely free. And Kids Voting Ohio is going to fund your project. So that's like, we'll build the budget as long as it's within the means of the organization. We do have funding for this program. So we will do everything we can to make sure that we can fund your program so that you don't have any costs in participating in this program. That is everything I have for the overview. I would like to open the floor for any questions that you all may have for me. And if you don't have any now, I will send you all an email tomorrow with some more information in a form to fill out for participating in the program. And you can ask questions then too.
Hi there, Martina. My name is Danielle. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I am great. I'm great. Thank you. And my apologies for joining late. That wasn't my goal here, but I joined when you had first started talking about session 1, and towards the end it sounds like the students are building projects to complete throughout the school year, the upcoming school year.
Yes.
Okay. And then in the I'm sorry.
No, sorry, keep going.
And if we do decide to participate, I know that we're on vacation for that first session. Is that a major loss by not being available?
No, yeah, we understand that like schedules are really varying and a lot of times people will be out of town, and that is fine. Ideally, we would like students to attend at least 2 sessions. Like if you have to miss 1 or 2, that's okay. We can meet with you individually and like make up for those lost times. Not a problem. I'll also make sure that we record all of the like learning sessions. That way students can get that information if they can't attend.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Can I ask another question?
Yeah,
Can you give me a
absolutely.
sense, how long has this program been around, and or for how many seasons, and what has the participation and the program look like in the past, if there is a history?
So this is actually the first time we're doing the summer civic leaders session. So Kids Voting Ohio it's kind of complicated history. Our organization has been around for like a long time, but we completely changed leadership. We used to only offer our programs in Central Ohio, and now we're statewide. But we wanted to start offering something in the summer, like outside of the school year. So it's like can be a more student-led model during a time where they have time to invest in something like that. So this is our first year, so I can't answer the other parts of that question, but this is kind of our pilot program, which is why we're only offering it in Central Ohio.
That's very helpful. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem.
We have a quiet crowd here this evening.
You can also send a question in the chat if you feel more comfortable doing that.
Can I ask another question? I'm full of questions.
Absolutely.
I'm dominating y'all. Y'all got to come on, ask some more questions. So what is the expectation as far as grade level and grade level range for the program this summer?
So we want it to be open to anyone in high school. Obviously, like if you I guess if you graduated, you've already graduated, so never mind. But yeah, any high school grade level is great. Something else I will add too is Kids Voting Ohio offers student scholarships in the spring semester. And this is definitely something like if you are needing or interested in getting like a scholarship for school, like or post high school, whatever educational thing you do after, this would be a really great stepping stone in receiving a scholarship. So just boosting that there. It's also a great way to earn service hours. So you get service hours for each session you attend, and then the implementation of the program will also be service hours as well. So it's kind of why we said 10 originally, because there's 8 with this session, and then we like the implementation, there will be at least 2 service hours you'll get during that as well. So it could be really up to like 20 service hours for this program.
That's fantastic. Awesome. And so you say high school students, my daughter is going into 9th. Is that it?
Yep.
Is that okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, thanks. Looks like we got some questions in the chat.
Yes. I can send some pictures for like mock elections and voter registration drives. I don't really have anything for the town hall that I initially talked about as an idea, because this is the first time that's happening as well. And then the other projects that would kind of just be of your choosing. I'll give like an example of one. Like say you live in a food desert and you don't really, your family and like other people at your school's families don't really have access to like good produce. You could start a community garden at your school and we would help fund it. Something like that, or like a recycling program or something you're passionate and interested about. And how many people per group? So each session will be all of the students together. We were anticipating getting between 20 to 25 students participating. If we do have significantly more than that register, we will break it up into 2 different groups. But as of right now, it will be like all the students working together, like in one large like library meeting room within those speakers and those community leaders as well to help. And if you're with another student at the same school and you wanted to do a project together, that's fine.
That was a great question and great response. I may have missed that too. I'm sorry, I might be asking questions that you covered, information you covered on the first end of the presentation. So these are individual or group projects?
Mm-hmm. So ideally individual, but it can be group. Like if you're with another student at your school and there's something you both want to do together, that's absolutely fine. We're trying to like allow students to have as much freedom as possible in choosing what they do and how they do it. Which is kind of the whole idea with the student-led model. Our purpose is just to help you and provide resources for where you need it. We just want to get you to that end goal. And we are not here to like instruct you on how to do it or tell you like how to have to do your project, what project you should do. All of that is up to you. So I'll just give,
Can I ask one more question?
yes.
I promise this is the last question. I have
we
my
have
fingers
plenty of
crossed,
time.
yeah. My fingers crossed. So at the conclusion of the program, does it come full circle, spring of next, the end of next school year? What does the conclusion look like?
It really depends on what the project is, honestly. Like if it's something that takes a project that would take the entire year to implement, it would end in the spring. But if you wanted to host like a mock election in November, then it would end in November. And then there's a primary in May too. So you could do both. It's very, very dependent on what the project is. And I don't know, I think you may have missed this part there. So there's an organization we're working with that's hosting like a youth forum with the gubernatorial candidates for Ohio. So that is an option to help organize that whole program and kind of determine the agenda, the talking points, and help get students attend. And that's going to take place in September. So that timeline might look really different than someone who's doing like a voter registration drive in the spring.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you. I wasn't sure if like towards the end, like it was like, okay, everybody's doing a final presentation on how everything turned out for you, in front of, everyone in front of everyone, right? Mm-hmm. So it sounds like it's just you're completing the project and that's it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. As of right now, and like if there is like an interest among the students to like come back together at the end of the school year next year to like share their experience, we can absolutely do something like that.
Okay.
As for the question of like 5 students at one school, yeah, I mean, if all 5 of you are interested in doing like the same project and you want to do it together, by all means, we're happy to help you do that. So following this meeting, probably sometime tomorrow morning, I'm going to post this recording of this meeting on the website along with the presentation. So it's viewable for anyone who missed it. And if you like wanted to review something again, I will also send out a form to all of our participants here today and everybody who signed up for like the actual participation, and I'll ask like if you're available for all those sessions, and we'll like figure out transportation too if there are needs for that. So I just ask that if you are interested in participating in the program, when like just keep an eye out on your email. You'll get that sometime tomorrow, and if you could just fill it out when convenient, that would be great.
It's been great. Thank you so much. It's a fantastic program. I hope my daughter gets involved. Well, I'm the one that's here, right? Maybe
I know I made it at 5:30 on purpose because I was like, I have a feeling some parents will show up to this and be like, I want my kids to do this.
I will wholeheartedly mention that she's not enthused at the moment, but that's okay. That's all right.
It's a great way to meet some new people and get service hours, and it will look really good on a college application. Like being able to say that you participated in this, like we could write you a letter of recommendation for participating in the program. Like there's a lot of benefits to this, and snacks. There will be free snacks.
That's a seller right there. That's a seller. Right now, she's not thinking as far ahead as I'm trying to get her to start thinking that far ahead as far as, okay, put it on your resume and letter of recommendation, but it's a little challenging, but
yeah, especially as a freshman too, like participating in something like starting freshman year. I mean, that really would boost a lot for you. Like they would be like, wow, like that's some initiative at such a young age, which is awesome. To that question in the chat, there are no specific requirements other than you just need to be a high school student. That includes going into high school. That's pretty much the only requirement we have. And that you're in Ohio, ideal, like, or an Ohio student, because we are an Ohio-based organization.